hearings in the Supreme Court. Let me start by asking you, as a bureaucrat, a serving bureaucrat, of course, you probably had to implement what the government of the day had to ask you to do. Today, you're free to speak your mind. You're no longer in government. Do you believe electoral bonds actually help cleaning up funding, or do you think they encourage corruption?
So let me first give you this caveat that I was free to speak my mind in the government as well. So it's nothing has changed after I left the government. The chapter which you would read in this book about the electoral bonds will probably bear this out. So when I first heard of the electoral bonds, I was in the US in the position of ED in the World Bank, and I also got the same impression that there is some devious design perhaps to get the money through some devious or covert way. That was the kind of impression I got. But when I landed in the job, and it was my responsibility to, in a way, to design this scheme, to implement the decision which had already become a law in the country, because the amendment had already been made. And the only thing which was left out was to roll it out. At that stage also, I wanted first to convince myself whether it's desirable scheme to do it or not a desirable scheme for me to oppose it. And after those initial interactions with Arun Jaitley ji, the finance minister, I was convinced that this is there to solve a problem. This is not the best of the solution, but this is better than any other solution which is on the offer and which can work. So I am absolutely convinced that the scheme, as it was implemented, was a better option than what was existing. And I think the fact of its implementation over the last couple of years also probably bears it out, that over 9,000 crores worth of electoral bonds have been sold. The ruling party has got something less than 60%. Others have also got it. So I don't think there is any serious problem.
So actually, let's look at the figures. In fact, since you've mentioned the figures, the BJP has actually received 57% as of 2022 of all electoral bonds. The next party is the Congress, receiving about 10%. So there's a huge gap. And one of the arguments the petitioners made in court is there's something status quoist about electoral bonds. And the third party is actually a surprise. It's a regional party. It's the Trinamool Congress, receiving 8% of all electoral bonds. 25 parties have signed up, registered to receive these bonds. Only the Communist Party, on principle, has refused to take money from the electoral bonds. Now, let me tell you what the commonsensical question will be from people who are not technical people. We are not experts. We only want you to tell us why anonymity. Why is anonymity critical? Why should I not know that these 5,270 crores ये कहाँ से आई, ये किसने दिए बीजेपी को, or this 964 crores to the Congress, who gave this money to the Congress, and so on? Why is anonymity being encouraged? Why is that a good thing, Mr. Garg?
For two reasons. Number one, the anonymity also needs to be a little bit demystified. There is no anonymity as far as the companies are concerned, that how much they have contributed to the political parties. So that side of the equation we know. Of 9,000,
and we know it because they have to file it. They have to put it in their financial papers, in their financial documents.
It is there in their accounts. It's an accounted for expenditure. This is taken out from their bank accounts, given out. So this is all available. You can list out. If you like, if we have patience to go through all the companies' balance sheets and then list it out, it would be available as an expenditure. We also have transparency as regards which party has received it. So, like you just displayed the number, so that part is also available. What is only not available is the connection between which company donated to which party. That is the only thing which is not available, right? And
Why
this
is that
is,
a good thing?
yeah, that brings to me to the second point. You see, we can't wish away the reality of what happens. And it's also true, if we assume that these donations are given by the companies to the political parties out of some charitable or pious objective. That is, I think, something too much to assume. They are hardcore businesses. The political parties are there in the businesses to run it, the country, and they need money. Very clearly, I don't think there should be any doubt about it, that all those who are giving donations through electoral bonds are giving either to buy the political peace, or maybe, in that we don't know, some specific favor or payments or whatever, right? So that is truly the reason why the donations are made. Now
But
the
sir, but sir, 1 minute. You just said political donations almost always in the real world, and I agree with you. They're not coming from charity or ideology. If they are rarely, they're mostly to buy peace or favors. Isn't it important then for the citizen to know, for example, that if company X, I don't want to name any company, company X gives 100 rupees to government Y, and government Y subsequently passes a law that is beneficial to the company, the citizen has the right to know, to join those dots, don't they?
Now, I think this brings the other dimension of this. What is the citizens' sort of right or expectations or legitimate interest to know about it? I saw what Attorney General said in the Supreme Court, and you can discuss this in the legal context, or you can discuss it in the policy or desirability context. I don't think we need to go into the legal aspects of it. The Supreme Court will hear, and all parties will. In my overall basic assessment, there is nothing illegal about it. But I'm more interested to take up your question from the desirability point, whether citizens should know it or not. Now, it's always good that if you have this information that X party gave it to Y, X company gave it to Y party, and that information is available publicly domain. But in the process of making it happen, if you kill the whole scheme, then no one will give the donations if this information is available. The kind of fractious policy or polity which we have in the country, the revenge kind of mindset which is there, if X is given to A party, that A party might actually take it on them. Those kind of issues are there, and the businessmen are not comfortable with that. That is the reason why the earlier scheme, which was there completely transparent, that the companies could have given to anyone, disclosing, they could have actually claimed the complete tax exemption as well. But no one gave, very few people gave. So do you want a scheme which is transparent, good, and give the information to the citizens, but actually